Well, it's springtime back here in New York City, and of course, that means budget negotiations amongst the City Council. Here to update us on what's happening in the City Council and then a few things more, we welcome now Councilman Andy King. And Councilman, good to have you.
Honor and pleasure to be here as always. Nice tie, by the way. I like the color.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to grow up and be like you. Listen, let's talk about this here. Obviously, budget season. A lot of people have a lot of concerns, a lot of money on the table, and a lot of proposed cuts. Where do we stand right now?
Well, right now we're talking about over $80 billion, $89 billion in this year's executive budget. You know, the budget, we don't vote on it until actually June 30th. And that's when we have to officially come to a resolution of what we're going to do. So right now we're still back and forth negotiating certain funding streams, whether it's for senior services or whether it's youth services or it's whether it's for figure out how we help out NYCHA or just making sure that the Department of Sanitation has what it needs. So there's still a lot of negotiations still going on. The budget negotiating team of the City Council is still working with the administration. You know, as the Chair of Juvenile Justice, one of my concerns is making sure that Darcel Clark, who's the Bronx District Attorney, has what she needs to make sure this transition works well. So in our budget response, it's over $75 million to help her deliver what she needs to do. Governor Cuomo and the state of New York have decided that they placed this legislative mandate on us for raise the age. That means what? That we're going to have a number of young people coming out of Rikers because they're closing down Rikers. If you're under 17, the rules change on you, which is great. You know, so the state did not put in their budget the $200 million that the city is saying that we need. So the city has taken the responsibility to make sure that we fund this new legislation and this mandate that we have. So I'm grateful and thankful to the Speaker, Corey Johnson, and my colleagues in government and City Council to say, hey, we're going to manage it because we need to make sure that we save lives of our young people who are coming out of the juvenile justice system.
So it'll probably be determined by the end of June, for sure, you guys will go to a vote.
Yeah, we'll definitely go to a vote. And, you know, like I said, right now, we're still negotiating, you know, the little things, big things. Are people happy with the 100% with the budget? We will never be 100% happy with anything when it comes to government, but it's all about what can we sacrifice, what can we do, and how do we make sure that we protect the people of the city of New York? And I think this budget is responsible, and I thank Corey Johnson for his leadership.
Let me switch fronts for a little bit. Talk about the recent comments by the Department of Education, the Chancellor, recent comments with regards to diversity and some tweets that he actually put out. You had a certain perspective on it when it came to diversity and his thought process. Let's walk through that for a second.
Well, you know, when you talk about the new chancellor came in, and I applaud him for his strength, even though he apologized yesterday before the tweet. But I would say, you know, to all of our educators, to all of our parents, we're in the city of New York that we talk about diversity. We're in the city of New York where we talk about fairness. We're in the city of New York where we talk about everyone having a blessed and the same equal opportunity. So our parents who are in the Upper West Side, if there's a diversity plan to help brown and black children to be a part of the access, the resources that you have, then that education system is about helping our children. We shouldn't put color lines on education. And I think what the chancellor did was just call out, because I saw the meeting and I was a little appalled of the parents that were in there. It was like, how dare they bring black and Hispanic and Latino children in our neighborhood to educate them? Why not? If you got the resources or the resources are being placed in your neighborhood to educate our children, at the end of the day, we need quality children to go out and lead the world 10 years from now. We're going to be all retired. So who are we leaving the world to? It just can't be one ethnic group that gets everything and then everyone else falls apart. Can't do that.
So if you had your ideal situation, what would you say to the chancellor? What would you want from the chancellor?
I say thank you, Chancellor, you know, because the truth is the truth. And in order for you to fix things, you got to uncover to recover. And sometimes in the world that we get oversensitive about our privilege, whether you're white privilege, black privilege, brown privilege, whatever the privilege is, and we don't want people to you know, like get involved in our privilege. But at the end of the day, we're talking about children. We're talking about education. So if the resources are being funneled there, then I say to the chancellor, then we just figure out how do we spread the resources all throughout the city of New York. Not that you have a couple of pockets of city of New York who get greater education and the rest of us are trying to figure out how to survive education.
So let's talk a little bit about what you got going on too. You got Youth Speaks coming up. I know you're doing some great work with our young people.
Yes. This is the 12th year as the co-founder of the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program with my wife, Neva Schilling for King. We have been able to have real conversation with adults and children to understand their adults who are responsible, who have said they've taken on the responsibility of helping children. So this year we'll be at Truman May 9th at Truman High School, having this conversation with a number of responsible adults, such as the commanding officer of the 47th precinct, which is Eric Hernandez, as well as PIX announcer Monica Morales, Brian Dennis, who owns and runs Chrysler Jeep in Riverdale and in the Bronx, as well as one of our great MLB players, Darryl Strawberry, who's committed to being coming. And so it's going to be a great conversation with our young people, at the forefront. They're organizing this forum. Over 1,000 kids are participating from schools throughout the borough of the Bronx. So we're excited about what our children are going to say, present, and have a conversation. But more importantly, listening to the responses from the adults who are going to say, oh, I got to get this right because I can't go up there and just say anything. I got to get it right because she's chosen the sharp.
and obviously every year it continues to grow. Talk to us about the summer plans, because obviously summer's around the corner. What do you have coming up in the district?
Well, in the district, we are going to be looking to do a couple of street renamings in the borough of the Bronx, as well as in my particular district, we're doing one. And I say thank you to J.W. Smith, who's gone on to be with Christ, all the work he's done as a resident, a community board member of Community Board 12, and part of my District 12 cabinet, as well as Pastor Simpson, who is going on. We're going to be doing a street renaming for him as well as Sister Bernadine Hines, who was part of the NCNW, National, which has done so much work for women of color, but women in general, and making sure that her legacy remains. And I end with my dad, Andy King Jr., who did so much for about 10 to 15,000 young men who passed away, and we're going to be doing a street renaming for him as well as on July 14th. So we're excited about all that we got happening in the Bronx, as well as our kicking off our Gospel Community Engagement Day, August 4th, Fun in the Sun on the Evander Field.
Got a whole lot of stuff going on, Councilman Andy King. But we definitely will have to bring you back as we talk more about the budget and when we get close to budget closing.
Yes.
All righty.
My honor and pleasure to be here.
Councilman Andy King,
Thank
here,
you.
our guest in the studio. All right, listen, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, it's never too late to get a master's degree. Yes, you can still get your master's degree. We're going to tell you about a program that awards students with an MBA in a year. Don't go away. We're coming right back in a few.